In this video, I will be sharing a 25-minute gentle yet effective recovery sequence for student and yoga teachers. Yes, teachers, especially after teaching class, we need recovery as well. Slowly, set your intention at the top of the mat and then bring yourself down onto hands and knees. Allow your spine to be nice and neutral with breath, contracting the low belly in for 10 breaths. Stacking your shoulders over the wrist, hips over the knees. Focusing on breath, focusing on contracting and letting go of the belly. After completing about 10 rounds, go ahead and slowly push yourself back into a nice, easy child's pose. Preferably knees closer together so you can get more of a stretch in the low back, and drop your head down and just keep it easy and soft with a nice breath. Then bring yourself forward, and we're going to go into what I like to call a nice controlled cat and cow. So rather than the traditional just letting go cat and cow, we want to engage our low belly and then slowly flex and extend the spine. What this will do is limit the movement into the upper spine and shoulders. And you can just do about 3 to 5 rounds, as many as you like here that feels great in your own body. And then slowly lower down onto elbows. Keep a nice neutral spine, belly slightly engaged. Pray your hands behind the head. Place your elbows in line with your shoulders. And breathe here for 3 to 5 breaths. Then slowly bring yourself forward onto your belly, moving into Sphinx pose to gently stretch into front of the body. So here you're going to slowly press down into your forearms and elbows, broaden across the collarbones, and simply lift or draw the belly in and hold for time. You can do about 5 seconds here, breathing steady with the belly drawn in, and then simply just repeat. Point your toes, tone the thighs, pelvis pressing forward, draw the belly button in, engaging your core. Breathe, even-toned and steady. And slowly, simply just release. Next, we place ourselves into half crisscross arms. This is a nice shoulder stretch, holding for 5 breaths on each side. So you simply slide the right arm underneath the left shoulder, and the left arm is reaching up above my head alongside my ears, and my chin is actually draped over my upper right arm. Breathing nice and steady, and when you complete about 5 breaths here, bring yourself back into Sphinx pose and switch. Slide the left arm underneath, right arm reaches above the head. Drape your chin over the upper left arm, palms are facing down. 5 breaths here. This is a great way to get a shoulder stretch on the outside of the shoulders. Next, lift yourself back up. Place your hands on either side of the ribs, elbows pointing up, moving into Cobra. Point your toes, pelvis presses forward, draw the belly in and extend the spine. See if you can get another round here. Lift up, elbows back, breathe steady, and then slowly lower yourself down. Then slowly push yourself back into an easy child's pose, creating a little movement here, sending your body forward and hips back, maybe to the side slightly. Then offer the hips to the other side. Allow your jaw to be completely relaxed. Feel the heaviness of your head down. Easy sway of the hips side to side. You can even start to drop one side of the hips down, keeping your hands in place as you drop the other hip side down. This offers a wonderful stretch on the outer hips. It's one of my favorite movements. And you just take a few rounds going at your own pace. You can also sway the hips into a U shape, leaning into one shoulder, leaning into the next, allowing some freedom and some movement to loosen up into the body. Then slowly reach your right arm straight up through the sky, threading the needle. In this pose, also known as Parshva Balasana, you get a nice stretch on the outer shoulder, a nice gentle twist in the spine. And when you're done with 5 breaths here, you can switch to the other side. Left arm reaches straight up, switching sides, reaching underneath and across, threading the needle, laying the side of your head down, right arm reaches above the head. Breathe here for 5 breaths. Nice, easy, gentle breaths here. And then slowly move back onto all fours. Externally rotate the entire arm, turning your hands outwards towards the outer edge of your mat. Slow and controlled cat and cow motions here, rounding into the spine, and then slowly dipping into your spine. You can do about 3 to 5 rounds. This also includes a nice stretch into the forearms, since the arms are externally rotated with the palms facing down, wrist facing forward. Include a nice stretch into your hands as you peel back. Take a moment and just rest back into your heels if you're able to sit this way. Next is toe stretch. So dorsiflex the feet, which means tuck the toes. Sit up nice and tall and take a few moments to rest here with a very calm breath. This pose is not very easy, or this stretch is not very easy for some of us. So if you have to take the weight off the heels, you can always take breaks, or you can also stand on your knees. Slowly release the feet, point the toes straight back, lower the hands down behind you, and take some time to lift up the knees up and down any amount. Ease into a stretch on the tops of the feet. You can even add a little back bend, a deeper back bend as you lift the hips up. Allow the head to roll back if you're able to, or just send the chin down the center and push through your arms, lift the chest up, and hang out here for a few more breaths. Then slowly release the pose, bring your arms forward. Lower yourself down onto hands and knees and step your right leg forward, setting up for low lunge with a side bend. Reach your arms up, right hand catches the left arm. Lengthen both sides of the ribs and side bend to the right. Try to lengthen your tailbone down as you scoop the low belly in. Return back to center and slowly lower your hands down as you extend the front leg. Flip up onto the right heel and drop your head down. This is called Arda Hanumasana, half split. And then cross the right leg high up onto the left thigh. Make sure your sits bones are anchored down into the ground. Raise your left arm, bend your right elbow down behind the back, and try to find your fingers. Stay here for a few breaths. If you can't find your hands, just create the shape. Breathe here steadily, relaxing the jaw. Release the hands and slowly bring yourself back forward. Release the right leg and keep your left hand down as you open up into a modified side plank. So reach your right arm straight up through the sky, opening up your chest. Pick up your right leg, flex the foot. And slowly lower yourself back down. Take your hips back into downward facing dog. And take a few moments just anchoring and grounding here into your body. Bring yourself back down onto hands and knees. Switching sides, so step your left foot forward, raise your arms up. Left hand catches the right forearm and side bend to the left. Do your best to scoop the low belly in, lifting up into the heart, opening up into the right side of your ribs. Breathe here steady as you slowly return. Lower the hands down, straighten into the front leg, tone into your left thigh, flare your left toes. Do your best to drape yourself over, so create more length and rounding. You can always use blocks here on either side of the legs, underneath the hands. Take your time as you enjoy the stretch into your left leg. Slowly cross your left thigh high up onto the right thigh, creating Gomukhasana legs. The heels are on the outer hips. Your sits bones are anchored down into the ground. Sit up tall. And then slowly set the arms up. So reach, clasp the hands behind you. Actually here it's supposed to be right arm up, left arm down. So just switch. And you hold here for time. Breathing very calmly and steadily. Release the arms and go ahead and start to crawl back forward. Unfurl that left leg, opening up into side plank. Right hand stays down. Notice how the right foot swivels in line with my right bum as you reach your left arm straight up and overhead. Stretch. Pick up the left leg and flex the foot. Draw the belly in. And when you're done, slowly just bring the leg back down. Bring the arm back down. Returning back to all fours. And take a quick child's pose here, and then tuck the toes, send the hips back, downward facing dog. Breathe here steadily. Use this pose to ground yourself into your hands and feet. Then step your feet forward on the outside of your hands into a wide-footed Malasana Squat. Elbows on the inside of the legs, hands together. Extend your spine as much as you can. Please sit on a block if your feet are not flat on the ground. And breathe here steady. Slowly lower your seat. Extend your legs in front of you for just a moment. Sit up nice and tall, hands on either side of the hips. And then bend your knees, lower your seat down to your heels, lay down nice and flat. Use the earth ground to support your spine. Draw your low belly in, into the ground. And practice contracting the low belly in. Try to take about 5 to 10 rounds of controlled breathing, using the exhales to contract and draw the low belly in. And when you're ready, start to lift your hips up into bridge pose. Press down into your heels. Feel the strength into your legs as you puff up your chest towards the sky, keeping your chin in neutral position. Don't turn your head, stay right in the center. Then slowly lower your hips back down. Breathe here for a moment, anchoring your spine on the ground. When you're ready, lift up the hips again. You can grab the outer edge of your mat or hands interlaced. Extend the right leg, flex the foot. Try your best to bring your knees in one line. Bring strength into the back of your legs and to the buttocks. And then lower your hips back down to rest. Then we take it back up to prepare for the other side. So slowly, go ahead and set it up for bridge pose. And when you're ready, extend your left leg straight forward. Do your best to line up your knees and puff up your chest as much as you can and flex your foot. Stay here, breathe steady, press down into the right heel. And lower the foot down and lower your hips all the way back down. Hands over the belly. Breathe into your hands. Take your time. Practicing, contracting, and releasing the belly. This next piece here is a bit of movement. Bend the knee, extend, bend the knee, and extend. Notice how I'm using my toes to lift my hips up because they do tend to drop a bit. Doing a few rounds here and then switch to the other side. Try to do the same amount on each side. Lift the hips up, extend your left leg. Do your best to not let the hips drop. Otherwise, you can use the tip of your toes to push your hips back up again until you can keep the hips up in place. When you're done with the extension and bending of the knee, lower your hips down, take a moment, and then thrust your hips up and down with both feet on the ground. Just loosening up, softening the work that you just completed. And slowly bend your knees into your chest. Keep your spine nicely aligned along the mat or on the ground. Tailbone, low back, shoulders, back of the head down. Cross your left thigh high up onto the right thigh. And a gentle twist. Drop your knees to the right. Turn your head to the left. Twists are great for maintaining a healthy spine. Slowly return back to center, gather the knees, and then slowly switch. Right thigh high up onto the left thigh and softly drop your knees to the left. And turn your head all the way to the right. Breathe here several times. Nice steady breath. Then slowly return back to center. Separate the legs and place your feet slightly wide with the knees dropping to the left and right, creating an internal and external rotation into the hip joint area, loosening up. Then slowly dropping your knees to the right. Lift up your right foot and hook on the outside of the left thigh, just above the knee. Reach your arm straight above your head. Right hand clasp around the left wrist and use that to pull and lengthen into the left side of the body, sending your hips. Lean forward into the left side of your hips and then switch. Drop your knees to the left, hook your left foot on the outside of the right thigh, switch to clasp of the hands. This time, left grabs right. Lengthen, open up into the right side of the body. As you're lying here on the ground, breathing steady. Release the legs, plant your feet down, take a little pause. Tuck the knees in. You can wiggle your hips side to side, loosening up into the low back. Next, you can set up for an easy inversion here. So the legs being straight up is a type of inversion, a very gentle inversion. It's more of a restorative pose, just laying nice and flat. You can take your legs up the wall for Viparita Karani, or simply just keep your legs straight up. If this is too much for you, you can always place an easy bend in the knees to keep this pose nice and soft. And we are here for about a minute, just breathing easy. Usually about 10 long breaths reaches about a minute. This is a calming pose. Breathe steadily through the nose and feel free to exit the breath from the mouth for a nice easy sense of release. And then slowly bend your knees, reach your arms straight forward to the sky, flatten your spine. They call this sleeping tiger pose in one tradition. So flex your feet 90 degrees, bend in your knees stacked over the hips, and you practice drawing the low belly in and out, anchoring your low back into the ground, connecting with your internal core strength. And when you're done, just tuck the knees. Breathe steady, keep a nice flat back, hug the legs in. Place your feet down. Knees slightly bent for a moment. And you can stay here if you have any low back concerns, or slowly. After a few breaths, feel free to extend your legs straight down, transitioning, ending in Shavasana, corpse pose. Hands on belly, monitoring your breath. Staying connected, but with ease. And eventually, you can keep your hands on your belly and your chest, or you can surrender your arms down, open palms to the sky. Natural curl in your fingertips. Draw your chin down and then let it go. Allow your arms and legs to grow heavy. Soften into your eyebrows, your cheeks, your jaws. Allow the earth ground to support your body. And when you're done, you can bend your knees, roll to the side, fetal position. You're always welcome to stay in Shavasana longer. And you're always welcome to stay here in fetal position as long as you like. And slowly, using your arms, press yourself up the seat. Take your time to take a nice tall seat. Setting yourself up, creating a nice long length into the spine, crown of the head to the sky. And we stay here for just a few more moments, enjoying the peace that we've created. Practicing patience before we rush off to the next. Acknowledging our practice, acknowledging the higher ups, the space around us, and thanking ourselves, one another, for this ability to move and understand and connect, this opportunity to revitalize so we can be of service to ourselves and be more of service to others. Namaste.